So here we're going to discuss calculating the mass of a certain number of moles. Moles, as we talked about, relate the number of particles to the measurable quantity of mass. So if I'm calculating the mass of 2 moles of aluminum, I need to figure out what the molar mass of aluminum is. So I look up on the periodic table, I find the atomic mass of aluminum is 1 mole of Al is equal to 26.98 grams of Al. And I get this from the periodic table itself. That's from the periodic table. I'm going to abbreviate periodic table PT. So I want to calculate the mass of 2 moles of aluminum. So let's use some dimensional analysis to calculate this. So 2 moles of aluminum I want to cancel out moles of aluminum. And I want to convert to grams of aluminum. The abbreviation for moles is MOL. So I know it's the, you're only dropping 1 letter, but that is the abbreviation. So we have 26.98 grams is 1 mole. So the mass of 2 moles is going to be double that. So we're multiplying it by 2. Our unit moles of aluminum cancels out. And we are going to get a value of 3.96 grams of aluminum. So that's just the ratio. That's just the weight of mass of 2 moles of aluminum. So the next one we talked about. Calculate the mass of 0.5 moles of Fe, which is iron. So similar to that, first thing I do is I find iron on my periodic table, Fe, and I look up on the periodic table and I find 1 mole of Fe, iron, has a mass of 55.85 grams. That is directly from the periodic table. Again, I'm going to abbreviate periodic table PT. And I can get my mass of, I have 0.5 moles of Fe. And again, I'm going to multiply by put my moles of Fe in the bottom and my grams of Fe on the top. And all I do is I substitute in my 55.85 grams right from the periodic table, right from these values right here. 1 mole, 55.85 grams. All right, so I take that in my calculator, and I calculate that, and 0.5. That's 55.85, and I get a value of 27.925 grams of Fe. Okay, so that's the value. If I needed 0.5 moles of Fe, I would weigh out 27.925 grams of iron. We'll talk about rounding with significant figures later. So moving on, last one, 10 moles of K. So I look in the periodic table. Why don't you guys take a second and try this one, see if you guys can figure this one out, okay? And we'll start right up. So here, I have the setup here. First thing we do, as always, look up on our periodic table. And I take a look on the periodic table to find the molar mass of potassium, K. And I found it is 39.10. So that is directly from my periodic table. From the periodic table. And then I just put I take a look at my units, you know, as I do always with dimensional analysis. And I know my ratio of moles of potassium to grams of potassium is 1 mole is equal to 39.10 grams. And so I get 10 times that would be 390.1 grams of potassium. All right, so we'll stop here, and if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask.